Hey, what's up, everybody? I am your host, John F. Thomas. I'm not going to be on here too long today, but I wanted to talk about something that happened to me. It wasn't really today, but it was like yesterday. Might as well have been today because I haven't had that much sleep. But I was called a racist. And I'll dig into why I was called that. For everybody that's tuning in, please feel free to hit the like button, share this on the various social media platforms, leave a comment to let me know what you think, and I'll be tuning back in right after we hit this intro.
Talk to me, just share with me your thoughts. Don't be afraid to talk to me and show me who you are. I wanna know talk to me.
It's the J to your fan. Now who else can make you feel like that? It's the J to your fan. Now who else can make you feel like that?
Talk to me, just share.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? I'm your host, John F. Thomas. Welcome back to the JT Effect. Thank y'all for tuning in. For those who are tuning in, please feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment, type in B1 if you believe that you're black first before anything else, black first before Democrat, black first before Republican, black first before whatever, if you're black first. So I'm going to just dive right into it. Like I said, I'm not going to be too long. I'm going to just hop into it. So I was called a racist. And it was really confusing. So I'll dig into the story. So how this happened. How this happened that I was called, me, a black man in America, was called a racist. So I asked a simple question, and it was basically I was talking about, and there's this group that I'm around, and we talk about a lot of different things. We talk about a lot of different topics. Some topics where I feel comfortable enough with this group where we talk about things that kind of same thing like I put here on the tagline, promotes critical and forward thinking and things like so. We talk about things that kind of we question each other, kind of push each other. But there's this one person in the group that seems to be pretty sensitive, more so than everybody else. And granted, this person isn't even from American. B1 to you, Papa Naya. I see B1. And make sure y'all hit the like button when you're coming in too. Please hit the like button. So, as a simple question, it was me and this person. Everybody else left, and it's gonna get kind of a little nerdy. So I'm not gonna go too deep into it. But there's this phenomenon in a sense around some of the younger kids and some kids around my age and a little bit not kids, but people around my age and people a little bit older that they've been watching anime. I don't know if you've heard this thing that rung a bell to Dragon Ball Z for those Dragon Ball Z fans and Naruto and other popular stuff. So all of these things are popular. There's a lot of people to watch these things. And the question that I posed was, I wonder, because there's the anime and it came from these books. This might as well be to make it make sense to you. It's like comic books. How we have comic books here in America, and then they take from the comic books and they make the TV shows, make the cartoons, they make the movies. So in Japan, they have anime, which is the biggest thing over there that they produce, which is animation, basically what that stands for. So, but it came from this thing called a manga, and the manga is basically their version of a comic book, and they draw these things. But one thing I've always noticed when I started watching, I started with Dragon Ball Z, and I noticed that a lot of them had really big eyes, and I was sitting there thinking like that's really interesting to come from a place like Japan, and we know how the Asian community looks. They have these slanted eyes, and I'll share some pictures of what I'm talking about here, and so you can see what I mean. And this is a version. If you haven't seen any of this stuff before, this is what a typical anime character might look like. Really big eyes, a lot of expression and stuff like this. So I was saying, my question was, I wonder if there was any influence from Western culture from something like this, from what I just showed you here. If there was any Western influence. And not only with this, because we see the big eyes there, there's also, like I said, there's this other show called Naruto. I'll share with you why Naruto is important, why I'm showing that. And again, it's kind of nerd. I'm not going to stay on that too long because you might be like, well, I don't even watch this stuff. So this character here. Now, if you think about, and this is Japan, and we have a lot. How many Japanese people look like this? And please leave a comment if you know of any Japanese people who naturally look like this: blonde hair, blue eyes, and big eyes. Right there, I've never seen. So I've always wondered. I was like, well, why is that? And then it really came into a question yesterday. I was just like, I wonder if there's any Western / European influence on there. And I asked this question. And James Baker says he's seen none. He's seen no Japanese people look like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not saying this as in, ooh, these Japanese people look horrible or Asian people look. No, that makes no sense. I love everybody. Just like I'm like Barack Obama. I love everybody, so whatever. And I was saying that this is, interesting. But anyway, long story short, the other person who is not an American citizen naturally. I think he's living here now and all this stuff. But he was saying that what somebody said, you low key called them slant eyed folk. Imagine. No. I didn't call them slant. I just said that is their characteristic. That's a character they typically have. That is a characteristic of them. They have slanted eyes. So I was saying the thing. I said that's just interesting that these characters have really big eyes. I'll show you another picture. So, and this isn't to poke fun at them. I was just like, this is just interesting to me. But anyway, I was saying all of this stuff, and this person he said, well, it's just because, the animals, like, let's say for Disney, for instance, the animals with big eyes, they look cute and they show a lot of emotion. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, I can respect that. Let's put that in there. But also, is there a point to where it could have gotten some Western influence? Because think about this. Remember all the Asian movies that you might see, like with what was it? Ip Man was the most recent one I saw, where they, it's back in the 1950s and 1940s, and the Europeans were coming over and they were basically insulting all of these Asian people in their face, but they didn't really do anything because so influential, we got to do business with them. So I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to take the insults. I'm not going to say anything, just like most of the rest of the world. So these things happening. We see with these characters. This is Goku on the left from Dragon Ball Z, very big eyes. I've never seen a Japanese person that look like that. And I was sitting there thinking, like, we all have things that we, and the guy in the middle, I forgot his name, but One Punch Man. These some interesting. I don't know the person on the right, but I'm saying all of this to say we all have different physical traits, things that make us stand out, make us unique, right? For Black people, we typically have full lips, wide noses, so, but in the 1950s, like for us, we started perming our hair, making our hair kind of straight, and all this other stuff to kind of get out of the kinky, coarse hair so that we can be accepted by them. Now we made it kind of like our own thing. We had like little Jerry curls and all this other stuff. We made it fly. We did make it fly. And you can ask somebody today, even today, I'm just like, hey, why you wearing straight hair? I'm wearing it for me. You wearing it for these white people? No, I ain't wearing it for these white people. What's the root though? Where did it come from? Was there a lot of African people walking around with straight hair before the Europeans start trying to colonize the whole world? Answer that question for me. Answer that question for me. For the people who are watching, was there any Africans walking around with perms in their hair before the Europeans start coming around doing what they were doing? I don't think so. That's not what was happening. So going back to this dude, so he was basically, he started getting upset because he was like, man, the Japanese people, they made this stuff for Japanese people. I was like, I understand that, but there could be some Western influence because they were going all over the world and influencing everybody. Like sometimes I wonder what China would look like right now if there had been no European influence, really. If they wasn't trying, just like who was that said, Papa Nye said they try to be white so bad it's silly. And not even them. It's a lot of people. There's Black people that try to be white. There's Hispanic people that try to be white. There's Asian people that try to be white, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes down the line. There's so many other cultures that try to be white, and then on the flip side, then you have the white people that try to look Black, or try, what I'm saying? So it's just like, why is nobody happy with who they are? ultimately, like white people are happy with who they are in a sense, but then they also they see what's cool and they try to take from that. They try to take from us. They try to get more fuller lips. And even though there's a lot of black people trying to, take some of the fat out of their lips to have like smaller lips to meet their standard of beauty, and which is bullshit. But anyway, long story short with the guy, and I probably said it a few times. I apologize if I did. Everybody is tuning in. Please hit the like button if you haven't hit it already. He was saying it was pretty racist for me to say that about Japanese people who and they only made the manga. They only made the anime and the manga for themselves, way before Europeans even paid attention. And I was telling him, I said, "Hey man, I'm not." And I was like, "Wait, what? Doesn't even make sense. How am I racist? How am I racist for that? I'm just asking a question. I'm just trying to get to the root of it all." He got really emotional. And long story short, he left and he was like, "I don't want to talk about it." When we're talking about stuff like that because of white supremacy. When I was in Japan or wherever, he was saying that on the billboards there was people who like either it was white people in Japan on the billboards or lighter skinned Asian people instead of the people who was actually they should be representing. And that confused me because I was just like, well, what does that have to do with me? What does white supremacy you seeing that have to do with me asking this question? That's separate. That's two separate things. But I say all of this to say he was very emotional in this. When I was trying to use logic, he was very emotional. No, he's not. He's one of those people, and this is what I'm getting to. He's one of the. I've been reading this book called what is the name of the book? Oh, The Coddling of the American Mind. I've been reading that book, and it's talking about a lot of people, especially people under my age, those who are in college and those who just got out of college and under, like they're starting to get very emotional now. Like they're just emotionally tired. Like going into college now, there's no like even people who come to speak now, they're being blocked from speaking. They're being blocked from giving a different point of view. So now all of the people in college now they don't know how to accept different thought. They don't know how to accept something different from what they've been given. So now whenever you say something that seems offensive, that seems like it could hurt somebody's feelings, then you're wrong. You should be shamed. You should be quiet. Silence us first. Stop talking. And that's kind of what was happening last night. It was like, no, I don't want to talk about because that makes me feel a certain way. And I'm just like, well, it's not my intention. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings or nothing. I'm just asking a question. So let's dig into, since basically I was called a racist, let's dig into what being racist means. Because a lot of people like to throw out, especially towards black people, since he's so offended. Let's dive into what being racist means, shall we? For everybody that's tuning in, please hit the like button if you haven't already. Let's dig into what being racist means, since this guy wanted to call a black person racist. All right. So the definition of racist is, as you can see, let me see if I can make sure. No, let me zoom in because I want y'all to read this with me. We're gonna read this together. Okay. All right. Let me make sure y'all can. All right. Here we go. A racist. And we should help everybody. Of or relating to or characterized by racism, such as having, reflecting, or fostering the belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Now, what I said didn't have anything to do with it. I was just saying, hey, there's something that, like for the Asian community, they have the trait of typically of more so like slanted eyes. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing because that makes them unique. That makes them unique, like special. That makes them different in a good way, not in a bad way. All right. Okay. All right. This is the other definition, or of, relating to, or characterized by the systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. So I'm with what I said. I'm black in America. I can't systemically oppress any other racial group. Not right now. Can any of you, everybody else is watching, can you systemically oppress anybody in this country? Outside of, and James Baker was saying, was the guy Asian? Yes, the guy was Asian. He's from the Philippines. I'm not gonna say too much about him because I'm not gonna, but he is from the Philippines, so he is Asian. And I can understand the initial knee-jerk reaction. But if you listen to more of what I was saying, that nothing I said was racist. Because what I was saying was, so what I was going to continue on with the conversation was, it's just interesting that, because, okay, I'll share again this, the picture that I shared. And this is what most anime look like now, the anime characters. So they look like this, right? And I was just sitting there thinking it's very interesting that they look like this when you have a Japanese person who looks like, let me share this other picture. Now, I just showed you the one picture of the anime of how they look. And it's one of the most popular drawing styles from Japan, period, from this. And he was trying to, and it looks totally different, night and day from what those things look like. And the reason why I say that is because on one hand, yes, it could do that to emote, being cute, showing more emotion and stuff like that. But what's wrong with how you look as you are? Why not draw your characters to look more so like you? I mean, that's the same thing with just like with black people. When we ask, like, what's wrong? Why are you lightening yourself to more so kind of match white people? You know, like this Japanese man's eye shape, that is unique to him. And that's beautiful. That makes them stand out. That makes them stand out as a community, as a people. There's nothing wrong with his eye shape. But it's just really interesting that I'll share another picture of another Japanese man. And I just thought this was always, and I talked to two friends of mine, and they'll call me out if I'm being like, hey man, that was pretty messed up what you said, yada yada yada. There's another Japanese man. You can see the eye shape. There's nothing wrong, I mean, and it's different. So looking at this is very different than looking at what I just showed you of these characters here. That's not the same. That's not the same. That's all I was saying. All I was saying, and then he took it to a whole nother level. He got upset. He got mad. I was like, oh, okay. This is in it. And basically I was called a racist. So with that being said, I was just sitting there thinking like, man, if anything, it could probably be prejudice. But let's look at the word prejudice. Let's look at that. Is it being prejudice? I don't know. Let's pop that word up. Prejudice, because a lot of people like to throw racist out there and they don't know what racist really means. So what I said was not racist. Prejudice, injury or damage resulting from some judgment or action of another in disregard of one's rights. I didn't disregard this person's rights. Let me see, especially detriment to one's legal rights or claims. I didn't do that. Preconceived judgment or opinion. It wasn't preconceived. I was just asking a question, because I told him to. I said, I don't know for sure. This is just a thought. But it was none of these things. But I'm also wondering why is everybody, we are becoming so emotional now. Everybody is becoming so emotional and not thinking, not using logic. And that's what I was trying to use. And I told him, I said, man, this is not an attack on you. I'm just asking a question. This is looking at history. This is looking at potentially facts, which I didn't have at the time. But let me fast forward. I decided to look it up later on at night. And it said most historians believe that it was influenced from Western culture. The father of anime was very influenced by Walt Disney. And they were saying that two of the characters that it could have been influenced by was Bambi and Betty Boop. Y'all remember Betty Boop? Betty Boop the cartoon? Betty Boop. I know y'all remember Bambi for sure. But yeah, both of those. And I was just like, I knew it. This person got so upset at me, and I was just asking a question, and the emotions got the best of this person to where he didn't even want to talk anymore. But it's not just him. It's a lot of people. They're doing this on all the mainstream media. They're getting everybody riled up with their emotions, and no one is thinking using logic. No one is using logic. No one is using critical thought. Nobody is using critical thought anymore. Nobody's thinking, when has it ever made sense? Unless somebody like your husband, your wife, your kids are killed in front of you. That is the only time that I can really see where you just go straight off of emotion and you choke somebody, or you see your loved one in danger and you go straight off of emotion. Now, in that instance, you don't sit there and think, my wife is getting raped or potentially getting choked out, or man, my kids are about to die. What should I do about this? Maybe I should sit down and I shouldn't rush to judgment. What should I do? You know? No, that's the only time really that it's completely okay that you use your emotions. Otherwise, when certain things happen, most of the time it's good to use logic. It's good to use context. It's good to use critical thinking, but no one uses none of these things anymore. Mainstream media doesn't care about context anymore. You look at NBC, they don't care about context. You look at Fox News, they don't care about context. You look at etc. ABC News, they don't care about context. Nobody cares about context anymore. Everybody's just getting emotional. And it's crazy that these things are happening. When we see these things happening, they're pushing fear in mainstream media. They're pushing one-sided opinion. You don't get the other side of the opinion. You don't hear what another person thinks. And B1, back to you, Tanya. What's going on? Make sure y'all hit the like button when you're coming in. All of these things are hurting a lot of us. It's hurting us. It's hurting us as a whole. It's hurting us as a country. We need to stop being so emotional. Pause and listen. Break it down. What is this person really trying to say? Instead of me going with my gut instinct, sometimes, a lot of times, that's wrong. When I haven't even registered what you said, but I just want to be upset. And Papa Naya said, JT, you were right. In my opinion, you have way too much patience. Couldn't be me. I want to tell them, get the fuck out of my... True. I thought about that. And the reason why my hands were kind of tied, because also I was at work. So I couldn't say what I wanted to say, you know? So I had to be cordial and I had to be respectful. But also, you know, I think they, I don't know for sure, but I think they probably kind of felt back. They were trying to talk to me a lot today. And I was just like, man, you know, because actually this happened yesterday. Like I said earlier, but they were trying to talk to me a lot today. But it just had me sitting there thinking, it's something I think that Boyce actually posted earlier this morning, that, you know, when basically, like, when you're arguing with somebody, and I think about this too, when two people are arguing together, if a wise man is arguing with a fool from a distance, nobody can tell who the fool is. No one can tell who the fool is. Both of you look like fools. And I think about that a lot. And don't get me wrong, man, probably not. I get upset at myself sometimes, because there's a lot of times I want to just go off of my emotion. There's a lot of times like, I just wanted to tell this person off. I wanted to blah, 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 blah. But the thought comes in, the critical thought, you know, critical thinking comes in, the logic comes in. It's like, hey, man, okay, if you do this, that, A, B, C, D, E is going to happen. Chances are. And you're black in America. If the police pop up or whatever, and this is just random situations, they pop up, they ain't going to be caring about what this other person did. And they probably ain't even going to listen to the bystanders who might back you up. They're probably backing, no, it's not him, it's the other person. They're going to come after you. And that's just how it goes. And that's just sadly, how it goes. And that's the reality that we live in. So I have to think, as a black man, I have to think ahead. I have to be smart, because if I just go off a straight emotion all the time, I'm playing right into their hands. I'm playing into their game. I'm playing into their hands. And if I want to beat the game, I need to know how it's played and beat them at their own game. And so that's the thing. And that's the thing that I constantly try to think about. And you know, it's one of them things where I was just like, you know, I could argue with this dude, and I've been thinking about that a lot more with a lot of people and everybody getting so emotional. And you know, you try to reach out to these people, you try to, and at some point I was thinking too, people will come when they're ready to come. People will come and try to learn. Same thing like with children. You try to teach children certain things. For the most part, they absorb a lot of stuff. Other things they're gonna have to learn on their own. You can tell them all day, but they're gonna have to learn some stuff on their own. And then they'll come back to you like, you know what, you was right when you said, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These people who I thought were my friends weren't really my friends, and you were saying they were just my fair weather friends. You know, only when the weather gets bad, they gone. You know, when it gets a little rocky, they gone. And so there's a lot of times where we have to learn stuff on our own. So I am getting into the mode of stop trying to sway people. You know, if you want to hear me, you can hear me. If not, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my breath. I'm not going to waste my energy because I need to talk to y'all. I need to work on like my own stuff. I need to try to uplift and do what I can for my community. For my people, for everybody who's listening, even if you're not a part of the Black community, you just want to figure out a way. How can I assist Black people, the Black community? How can I be a better ally? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And this is how you listening in. You can do that. You can figure out how to do that. You know, so we just need to stop being so emotional. And it's not easy. But this country has been turning a lot of people into knee-jerk emotional creatures that don't use logic, critical thought, none of that. So basically, it's like I feel, therefore you are. So that whatever I feel is what's real, and how I felt like you did this without thinking that does this person actually do this? Am I tripping? Was I? No, they're not thinking about that. So it's a lot of these things. It's insane. You know, disregard facts, throw away truth, screw history. Out of all this stuff I just showed y'all, and I brought all these receipts. And I did the quick research last night, proved myself right. And I told him, I said, I don't even know if this is true or not. This is just a question. Come to find out, it's true. And it's sad that is a way for me to learn. It's like, man, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to win this battle. I'm just gonna win the war. Because I can't win every battle. I'm gonna win the war. So I say all of that. And actually, you know what? And the last thing I want to touch on, this is the craziest thing. For him to say all those things that were said to me, basically called me a racist. And you're gonna say that to a Black man who maybe this guy deals with 1 to 2, maybe 3 things a week that he deals with white supremacy. He's affected, and something hurts his feelings because of white supremacy and all this other stuff. And I was sitting there thinking, he says this to a Black man who deals with either racism or white supremacy on a daily basis. Majority of us that are watching this now, we deal with racism, with prejudice, either subliminally, is very you know, covert, or it's overt. On a daily basis at work, we deal with it when we're watching the news, watching media. We see it, you know, microaggressions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. We're dealing with it every day. And this person had the nerve, and just like Papa Naya said, I should have went off on him. I should have. I was in my right to, because as a Black man, I deal with so much. But we're just so used to it that the stuff that bothers that bothers them so much, it don't even bother us that much, because we just like, oh, yeah, that's a Wednesday for me. That's just a Thursday afternoon for me. You know, that's nothing. I mean, not that it's nothing. It is something, but we deal with it so much more that. Have you ever noticed, like if you talk to a random, not all white people, but some white people, a good portion, they'll say, oh, I just can't take it because this one small thing happened to me today, threw off my whole day, and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, we have our Black women and Black men that's dealing with all kind of stuff, and they just got to shoulder through it. You just got to push through it, and that's one thing in a day. Not to mention the other 4 things that happened that day. And that's why sometimes I look at people, I'm just like, you are breaking down off of this? This is the straw that broke the camel's back for you? You know all the stuff I deal with today? And that's what's making you say, oh, forget it, I'm throwing in the towel, I can't do it anymore, I'm done, I just can't today. I can't every day, then. If that's the case, I just can't. You know what? For the rest of this week, I can't. if that's what's stopping you, if that little thing is what's stopping you, just cancel out the rest of my month. Just write it out. And that is very interesting. And just like Michael said, we go through 20 things in one day. One day. And Papa and I said, also I've learned that the words of a black man are poo-pooed as nonsense to many of these people. It's the disrespect that they have for our minds. It's true. That's true. And let me see. Michael says, Karen tried to go to war with me for walking in her way. I cursed her out in front of her old husband. They walked away. Man, you know, sometimes, you know, you try to hold it in as much as you can. But, you know, every once in a while it slips out. So I don't blame me. I just hope in the future, you know, you don't necessarily have to go that route. But I'm glad you're okay, brother. I'm glad you're here typing what you're typing. I'm glad that the cops didn't come out and, oh, a dangerous Negro, and just start, you know, shooting. But, you know, with what this guy said today, it had me think, even though he is supposedly an ally, that had me think for him just so carelessly throw that word. You know, I think it's just kind of racist that blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there thinking, like, why would you say that to a black man in America and you are supposedly an ally? One, you don't even know the definition. You don't even know what that means. You don't know what you're saying. You're just offended for the sake of being offended. So you don't really know what you're saying. I can't oppress anybody. I don't have the power at the moment systemically to oppress anybody. So I can't be racist in that sense. And also, let me see. Let me make sure I get the other definition right. Oh, thinking that a race is superior. I'm not really thinking that, or a certain human trait or capacity makes another race inferior. I don't think that. So I'm not a racist. I can't be a racist. So one, that's offensive. Two, you're saying it to, like I said, again, a black man in America. And you know, out of all the stuff that we deal with, black people, and supposedly you are an ally, supposedly. Just like Papa Naya says, we don't have any allies. And that's the honest truth. That's just being real. We think we have allies, and we do have some, but we have nowhere near the amount of allies of the people who are saying that they're our allies. They're not. They're not. Because if they were, if this person today was a true ally, he wouldn't have said what he said to me. He wouldn't have called me a racist. He wouldn't have called me a racist. Just throw that out. Just because he just felt like having his feelings hurt. He wouldn't have said that. Says ally check. Ask if they support reparations. That's a good question. We should start asking. Hey, do you support reparations for black people? Do you support? Well, okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. No, I just no. So it's a yes or no question. You know, you start saying other stuff. Thank you. It's all I need to know. You know, so that just let me know more clearly in my mind. Not that I didn't already know this, but other groups don't really care about us. Otherwise, they wouldn't throw out so ignorant, something as ignorant and as insensitive as was thrown at me. So we have to care about us. We have to uplift us. We have to make the moves to make sure that our community is winning. We're taking care of our community, and that our community will be winning in the future. That is what's important. So that I just wanted to share that to just let y'all know that, you know, I know we go through a lot. The thing recently with Simone Biles, it's on one hand, I kind of felt like, man, she should have stayed in, but you know, ultimately, no. If she wants to drive me, because we don't even own the Olympics. We don't even own that, and you know, you get the gold medal. I mean, that's nice. Get a pat on the back. For what? They still counting her points wrong. You know, at some point we have to stand up You have to stand back and just let them know, like, you know what, I'm bringing millions and trillions of dollars of talent to your company, to your event, and you're not respecting me. So at some point, I'm like, you know what, I'm out. Yeah, good luck with all these money. Good luck with all these sponsors without me being there. And let's start our own. NBA, football league. Ice Cube has the big three. Let's just support our own. Let's make our own, support our own. We already had our own black the baseball league. We left that to go integrate into the major basketball league, MLB. For what? Are there any black owners in the MLB? Are there any black owners in the NBA? And I'm not talking partial owners. I'm talking about full owners. Are there any black owners in the NFL? And I'll answer that for you right now. No, hell no, there ain't no black owners in the NFL. They're not letting any black people be owners in the NFL. They won't even let you take a knee. A knee for your own community. They will support every other community. You can wear a ribbon for every other community, a ribbon for breast cancer, which is an important cause. A ribbon for breast cancer. You know, support Pride, support all these other groups. But you try to take a knee for your own people, and majority of your players are a part of the black community, and you threaten them with their jobs. We got to start building our own, man. Like, screw these companies who don't respect us, who don't respect our community, who don't respect nothing that we bring to the table. They just look at us as commodities. They look at us as used toys to use, and we throw them away. Once they're done, I'm done. We got to start standing up and start building our own. And like I said, stop trying to get white sympathy. And I mean, if they care, they would have been changed things a long time ago. The only thing they're trying to do now is keep working on voting rights so that we can vote for them to keep doing the same thing. They're not talking about reparations. They're not talking about giving black people grants and increasing the opportunity of loans so we can build our own businesses. So who cares? Who cares what they think? Who cares how they feel? Who cares about any of that? I care about my black people. I care about my community. I'm taking my money and putting it in my community. Screw them. Miss me when I'm gone. So that's all I had to say today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank y'all for sharing your time, for commenting. For those who want to support my podcast and this show, you can do that by going here. You can patronize at the JT Effect by giving $1, $5, or $10. You can just go to the link at the bottom, anchor.fm/JT Effect/support. Again, that's anchor.fm/JT Effect/support. Or if you want to give more, you can go to paypal.me/Thomas Harry Visions, or you can cash at me at $Thomas Harry Visions. So I appreciate y'all. Seriously, I appreciate everything that y'all doing. Y'all taking your time. Subscribe to the Black Boss channel. You can find my shows here on the Black Boss channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on a lot. We have a lot because this is news. We giving y'all all sides. We're not just giving you one side. We just did one propaganda that's kind of like all these other news shows. They give you one side, they don't give you the other side. Especially on my show, on the JT Effect, and I know other shows as well. We're giving you more sides of this. It's not just, and we're speaking to what you care about. What you care about. Not what they're trying to get you to care about, but what you care about. And Papa and I said, thanks, man, do some more. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more streaming, man, for sure. Appreciate y'all tuning in, checking in. But that's what we're trying to do here. So give us your attention, your time, your money, if you can afford it. That'll help us out a lot. That'll help my show out a lot. I have a podcast, The JT Effect. You can find it on Apple, Google, Spotify. Go and look at some of my older shows, or you can follow me on The JT Effect on YouTube or on Facebook. Follow me there. Subscribe to me there. And I appreciate it, man. So put the Cash App and PayPal in the description. I think it's already in the description. I think it's already in the description of my. I'll double check. I'll update it if it's not already there. But it should be there. No, actually, no. You're right. It's not in there. Okay, I'll put it in there. I'll put it in there going forward. Thank y'all again. I love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of the night. I'll see y'all later. Peace.